to Basketball Talk Pro. My name is Ron Ekker. I'd like to start today by just mentioning something about the statistics course. We had two people that finished today and really just blew things out of the water. Both of them ended up at the highest level, level 3, an honorary certification. One of them had a perfect course, never missed a question, had 360 points, a perfect score. So I'm very pleased with that because the course is not difficult, and I didn't mean for it to be that way. The thing you have to do is the work. Obviously these two people really, and the first one, obviously did the work. And if you're doing the work, I really don't care about the answers so much. Of course, I need to know that they're answered correctly and that they're using the correct formulas and the things that we've been talking about. But the main thing is that you do the work. Once I know you're doing the work, I knew you'll be all right. You'll be able to take a team and put them to better use than normal. And like one of them said, both of them were very enthusiastic about what it meant to their career and what it meant to their coaching. One of them was very enthusiastic about how he could now have a better feel for how the team was playing when before he was just doing it by visual. Well, the course is always available, so email me if you'd like to take part, and we'll give you the discount code that you will need to get the discount. Today I'm going to talk to you about defense, and I entitled it Guidelines for Teaching Defense. I spoke with Dick Motta, a legendary coach, some years back, and we were just chatting, and he told me that he had lost one of his assistants, and he mentioned a former player of his that he wanted to get to fill the role, a defensive position. And he said, I really need a defensive guy, and he needs to be a former NBA player. And that was kind of to tell me not to apply. But at any rate, I said to him, you're a good defensive coach, Dick. I mean, he really was. And he said, I don't have the energy anymore. I need someone younger that can take all the work and effort that goes into teaching defense. And I think he had a really good point. You need that energy. You need that intensity to coach defense. If you're doing it very nonchalantly, and I talk about this later, your players are just not going to respond the way. You don't have to be Simon Legree and crack the whip. That is what I'm talking about. But you yourself, you're into it. Your intensity is there. Enthusiasm is there. Your toughness is there. You'll see results on your defense. Well, I'm going to give you 7 guidelines. I'm going to talk over a sheet on them. I do that so you can take notes better. These particular 7 guidelines, though, are in the book. So you're welcome to get them out of the book also. But I do talk about each one a little bit. So let's listen to those guidelines, and then we'll get back together just before we close down. Thank you. Well, I don't want to offend anybody. I know you can all read, but some people, and coaches, you should understand this, learn better when they hear the voice. And so I want you to know these guidelines well. I'm going to read them and then give some explanation that may help you clear them up for you. These are good. These are 7 guidelines. We'll have to move up the page a little bit when the time comes to it. Number 1 is very important one, and I think it should be number 1. The coach must be intensely involved in each aspect of defensive teaching and cannot approach it with a nonchalant attitude. Make defense important to you, and the players will respond. I shudder when I go to see practices and I see coaches running a defensive drill and kind of nonchalantly going over for a drink or talk to their assistants or even talk to visitors. Uh, Defense is so tough to teach. Make sure you're in it as much as you want the players into it. Players will respond. Keep the drill simple and focus on one skill until that skill is mastered. This is not necessarily a skill like footwork or that type of skill. It may be a skill such as one-on-one. It may be a skill such as two-on-two. Maybe a skill such as contesting shots, but a number of facets within it. But it's still one skill, one team skill. So keep it simple and focus on that until you have it mastered. If you want players, number 3, that can contain the ball, penetration, drives, they must spend considerable time on defensive movement, which is footwork, and one-on-one play. I see this so violated. The coaches cry about players not being able to guard the ball, but they never get a chance to work on it. Footwork is important. We start every practice with footwork. At least we have 2 drills, and we just alternate them. And that, I feel, helps our players. One thing, it makes them aware that we are defensively concerned and play one-on-one. When I was with Don Nelson, he told me that the Boston Celtics of the old days, the great teams, played one-on-one every day. And I can believe that because, Nelly played one-on-one every day. Now, sometimes I have to admit it was because he had to go to the bathroom, and that was just an easy way to, to get some time off. But he believed in it, and I thought his teams always were pretty good at it. Number 4, it is difficult to cover all the situations, especially in scramble, but the players should learn the concepts that apply to these situations. For example, recognizing a screen away, even when it appears in an unusual structure, and knowing immediately how to defend it. This requires well-trained instincts. If you train your players carefully in all of these situations, they will not come up exactly in a structured situation that you're used to seeing. But your players have to be able to recognize those and know exactly what they're supposed to do. Are you going over, under, whatever method you use, and to be able to do those immediately without thinking or instinctively. 5, work on defense at the beginning of practice because work on defense at the beginning of practice, when the players are fresh. Players tend to work on offense even when they're tired, but defense is laborious and they slack off when tired. This affects their learning. We spend all our practice time right at the beginning of practice. We don't go to offense until we're done with practice, defensive practice. We use one drill after another or whatever we're working on. And then we go to offense. We found that to be a very effective way to teach defense. If you leave it to the end, you'll see a lot more slacking off. At the beginning, they have a tendency to want to, really play. It's number 6. It is important that players see the entire picture first and understand clearly where the parts fit in. This will make the breakdown drills more relevant. This is true in all of my teaching. See the whole picture. That way, players have a better sense of why a certain breakdown drill is important. Yet, I see this violated over and over again. Go to a clinic, see a real snazzy drill that looks good, the players will like it, everybody will think you're really coaching. If it doesn't relate to what you're doing, leave it at the clinic. Let somebody else do it. Number 7, work on ball containment, shot contesting, and defensive rebounding somewhere every day. I do that. I think you will be very pleased with your team's play on defense if you can master ball containment, shot contesting, and defensive rebounding. The 3 pillars of defense. I have a section in the book. Now, all of these little guidelines are in my book, just exactly like I've got them printed here. But I wanted to go over them this way, even for those that have read the book, because it may clear things up a little bit better for them to hear a voice connected with them. These are principles, though, that you should internalize in yourself and in your players, because they work. They may seem simple, they may seem obvious, but they work. That's all that counts to make your defense better. Thank you. As I say there, I think if you apply these guidelines, internalize them into your own person, you'll see definite results in your defensive play. And, I'm not sure I go along with the slogan, defense is what wins, but I do think it has a lot to do with it. How you get the ball on offense is predicated by your defense. So it takes on a real importance. And don't feel you can't teach defense to all the players, because they can be taught. Don't let the star avoid doing the same things on defense that all your other players do, and you have a better team. Guys like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, those Magic, they played defense. They knew it was important, and they worked at it. And your stars should not slack off. They have a tendency to. So put yourself into it as much as you can. It isn't a matter of being mono, teeth bared and looking ugly and all of that. The years have taught me that that isn't what really makes a defensive player or a defensive team. Good skills, good concepts, a good plan, well drilled. That's what makes a good defensive team. I have never really gone over the rules on our ball line defense. I have in a book, of course. I plan to do that just for your information in the next week or two, and to show you. You've seen some of the drills. You've seen our shell drill, and in that I talk about the rules, but never really gone over the rules. So we'll plan on doing that in the next few weeks. But I hope you enjoyed this. I always enjoy giving it to you. I want you to all go out. The season's coming pretty quick now. Have nice teams. Be able to keep people from scoring. Thank you. See you next time.